over Shaun. I've been a guest on the Keith Andrews show a couple of times, and you really want to tune in and see some of the new content he's got.
Dennis Vincent, and I was interviewed on the Keith Andrew Network, and I had a wonderful time. It was the first time I've been interviewed by him. He's a wonderful guy and very down to earth and very easy to be around. So thank you.
For people who want to know what is the Keith Andrew Network, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even without a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. Never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you want to be. Prove to them and it's them out to something. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, the first question I want to ask you is tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, my name is Dennis Vincent. I'm an independent filmmaker and I'm based here in Denver, Colorado. I've been doing film since 2005. I'm working on my fourth film now. It's taken me a little while. I started off doing documentary work. So I had two movies that I did before that called the 40 Years of Chills, A Witch's Dungeon, which was in 2006. And then I released another one in 2010 called The Aurora Monster Model Kits. And that was 2010. And then I had a release in 2018, I believe I released it. So that was Rage of the Mummy. And now I'm working on a new one called Mark of the Werewolf. And that one we just started filming Sunday. So, and these are all features that I've worked on. So I don't know what else to tell you about myself other than I didn't go to film school. I actually went to art school. So I started off as a painter. And so I got into got into filmmaking pretty much by accident. I wanted to do instructional art videos. And so I started learning about video, but I had met someone who actually had a wax museum, and I was living in Connecticut at the time. And he was connected with a lot of, children of celebrities, of old celebrities, a lot of the old horror actors like Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. So he knew the kids from those famous actors. And he had a wax museum, which they supported. And so we did interviews. I did interviews with them eventually because I went to the conventions with him. And I pretty much, after I started doing this, I really enjoyed doing, what they were talking about, what we were interviewing them about. I got into the monsterdom a little late, so I was a little younger then. And I came to it late. I didn't grow up a monster kid, and I don't know. That was it. That's how I got into it. And I just never looked back ever since. So we did the documentary work. We interviewed a lot of these people about, their memories and about their parents. And after that, I just got into just wanting to make these films, so that's pretty much how I started. But I tend to like more of the classic, monster stuff. But yeah, I don't know what else.
Absolutely. What is the most current project you're working on right now?
It's called Mark of the Werewolf, and it's a werewolf movie, and we're shooting it in New York. I'll be leaving on the 24th to do some of the casting that we're doing out there. So it's in Binghamton, New York, and we'll be shooting there, and we'll also be shooting in Great Bend, Pennsylvania. So yeah, so that's the latest project I'm working on at this point. I wrote that. I'll be directing it. And I'll probably be doing the cinematography as well, and bringing a lot of my equipment there, which will be good. So I have a film partner in this, and his name is Joe DeMuro, and he has made films as well. He did one called Tales of Dracula, and that was in 2015, and he's now finishing up part 2 of Tales of Dracula. So we've teamed up together, and we're doing this werewolf movie together.
Absolutely. And if you're interested, I would have loved to interview your whole cast for any films that you're working on or going to be working on.
Sure. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. Like I said, we just got started. We haven't cast. What I have actually filmed at this point was in the movie, the characters are actually watching a movie. So I have to fill that with some content. And a lot of the horror films, what they tend to do is they tend to use George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. That's because it's in public domain, so they use that, and they use a few others that are in public domain. But I think a lot of the horror fans are kind of tired of seeing that, So I figured, well, let me create my own content. So that's what I decided to do. So I filmed with some actors here in Denver, and we're going to be doing 2 short little films that I can put in the inside the television that the characters back there are watching. So that's really what I started doing. So these guys aren't really necessarily going to be in the film, as the main principal actors, but they'll be a part of the film.
Absolutely. And I have our guests here, Miss Amber, and
sure.
Maybe you guys would be interested in cross promoting and working together. But the first question I want to say is, Amber, welcome back. What can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
I started out late in life as an actor doing background theater when I was younger, and now I'm doing some writing and producing my first short. We're actually finished pre-production. We're going to start filming in a few weeks.
Well, the same thing I said to our first guest. If you want me to interview any of your castmates, hey, I'd be more than happy to interview everyone. So you're helping me by setting me up with interviews.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do now is change up the format. So I want you guys to interact with each other. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is social media. Can social media make you or break you? With everything that you guys accomplish in your lives, have you ever received opportunities from Facebook, Instagram, especially both of you are in the production, having people working with, for me, doing my interviews, this is a big help, but this is not about me, this is about you. Amber, I'm going to start off with you. Have you ever found anyone on social media as like, I can't wait to work with this person I filmed, but at the same time, this person has talent, but I really don't like this person. And that's not directed at me.
Yeah. I think for the most part, I get approached by a lot of people looking to see if I have any opportunities for them. I get a lot of that, a lot of people that do music score. And quite often I don't have anything I can fit them in with at the moment. But I do get a lot of that. Sometimes you get clothing lines that say, hey, can you do something for us? Can you promote this product? And you have to really do your research, because sometimes you just don't want that on your social media. It's not good for your image, and you're only as good as the last thing you did.
No, I agree. Dennis?
I do get contacted by a lot of people that are looking to get involved with my project, and I don't mind. I kind of welcome that. But there's some that I get that they really don't fit with what I'm working on. But I tend to I only use really Facebook. I do have an Instagram account. I hardly ever on it. It's just because I'm so busy. I'm very comfortable with Facebook, and only thing I keep on there is anything that's related to my film. I don't put any personal information. I don't do anything like that. So everything is pretty much kept, in that genre, just as film. And but yeah, I do get contacted. I have met a few people that way that have helped me on some production, and I vice versa have helped them as well on their production. So as long as it's local, I do that unless they're willing to fly me out. But otherwise, it's all been pretty much local things and stuff. And I do have friends that are that are just like myself that do this as independents, and we do network in that way, and we support each other quite a bit. And I've also contacted some of the ones that I've gotten to know for any kind of personal help that I have. Like if I have a problem with something in production, they've been very helpful. I've been also very helpful for them, whether it's technical or trying to make a decision, about what you should do. And so it has been very helpful for me. So I do enjoy being on social media. But it does have a bad side too. So there's some, you have to kind of weed out some characters that are just out. They're just, being very, I don't know, they're just hateful people sometimes. But for the most part, I've had good experience.
That's true. Most of the people that talk bad about you are mostly cowards. They will never say it to your face, but behind behind a computer screen, they feel like they're empowered.
Yeah, that does happen, and I have ran into that, unfortunately, but it hasn't hurt what I'm doing. So
It's true. Now, the next thing I want to ask Amber, was there anything you wanted to ask me or Dennis? I want this to be more interactive.
Well, I've definitely enjoyed my time on the show. Glad you had me back. There's just so much in this industry, and it's so vast. People think that if you're an actor, that's what you do. If you're a director, that's what you do. And it's so far from the truth. You literally go over every aspect of it. You have to be wardrobe. Some days you are the first AD, other days you're the producer in charge of the money and where everything dime goes. Other times you're wrangling extras, or someone called in sick or didn't show, which unfortunately does happen. It's not good, but it happens. And sometimes, you're the makeup person on the fly, especially when you're working with small independent productions. The bigger union shoots, of course, you don't have that issue. They always have backup, but yeah, it's more work than people ever imagine it is. And you have to love it, or you just don't do it at all.
No, you're right. The three of us are all independents. I don't really, okay, I guess I do write my own questions. I was going to say I really don't write, but I have my own script. I edit, I produce, I do the music. Okay, I don't do the music. I find public domain, thank God for that, or it'd be pretty boring. But I do everything myself. But yes, it would be nice to have help. But at the end of the day, you can pat yourself on the back. You said you did it yourself. Hey, wardrobe. My dad used to be assistant principal, so the shirts he didn't want anymore, I said, can I have this one? I like that color. Can I have that one? So I have plenty of shirts. So, sometimes you need to be a jack of all trades. You want something right, you do it yourself. And Dennis, what would you want to say?
Oh, I would just like to, kind of continue with what Amber was saying. It is true. You wear multi hats, and that's the only way you can get what you're trying to make this film. It's the only way you can get it done. To get it done is you have to have some technical background, or you have to rely on somebody who does. You have to know how to shoot film, or you have to rely on somebody who does sound, everything. So I learned how to do a lot of this myself, including acting. I'm also an actor as well. Not a very good one, but I took acting because I knew I was going to be directing actors, and I had no idea what they did. So I needed to learn what they did. So I took acting for about half a year. And although I don't enjoy acting myself, at least I know I can coach them through or help them through scenes or whatever it may be. I know what they're going through. I know, those kind of things. And it really, really helps, but you're doing everything. You're doing the writing, you're doing the lighting. And if you can't do all that, you've got to find somebody to help you. But at least you should know some of it, because it will help you know whether somebody's doing it right or they're doing it wrong or whatever it may be. But and that's also the fun thing about this, is that you can do a lot of things. If I'm not making props, I'm learning makeup. If not doing that, I'm acting in the film, or writing, or I'm learning lighting or something with the camera or whatever it may be. So it's unlike before. I was a painter. I just stayed in the studio, and all I did is I had a pack of cigarettes, my music, and it was just me, and I just did my work. And this is just the other way around. Now I socialize with people, and I have to interact with them. I have to learn how to, get along with them to get what you need. And you have to do so many things, so many different jobs. And it's just you're solving problems every day. There's always something that's going to go wrong on the set, and you got to be able to think on your feet. Okay, how can I, we lost a location. What are you going to do? And that's the way it is for a lot of independents. Very, very difficult work to do, But there's also a thing too, where I've been on bigger sets where they've had, a lot of money to do this. And it's just this slow elephant, because everybody has a job and they won't get it done. Nobody wants, because, you have the union there and they won't let you plug in a light. They won't you do anything. If it was on my set, I can do it like that and get it done. But sometimes it runs really slow on that kind of. With mine, I can move really quickly and get things done, make decisions, so. Anyway, so there's some advantages, some disadvantages.
No, that's true. So the next question I want to ask both of you is, with everything you've seen of me, do you think, what would be my next goal? Do you think I should do a reality show? Do you think I should do a documentary? Would you want to write a documentary about me? What is, as a producer, what is both of your honest opinions? And Amber, I'm going to start off with you.
Well, I think what you're doing is really great. And it's bringing awareness for some people who may not think that they can do much because someone else has said, oh, you have something wrong with you, or it doesn't fit, and you're stuck at a certain level, and you're proving to people that you can. And as I'm sure you both know, in film, most people we run into, everybody could have a label of some sort. I've worked with many people, myself included, a little bit of the OCD, but it goes a very long way when you're working in film, a very long way. And I find it some of the most dedicated people. Documentary on how you got to this point would probably be a good thing to add to your show. It would be interesting.
All right, well, what do you think about something like a reality part?
Is that for me?
Yes.
Oh, you mean a reality show for you? I think you would have to find out what it was based on. I know that your show is based on people who have learning disabilities but can still, do things, and you can prove that they can still do these things. And it might be that, I don't know how many people who have this, situation, and it could work. I can say that doing a reality show is a bigger production because you need more equipment for that. It means you have to lab everybody up if they're going to be moving around sets, and depending where it's going to be. I would say documentary is going to be a little bit more manageable, and that's the reason I started doing documentary, is because I could stop and start when I needed. When you're doing narrative work, you have to get it all done at once, pretty much, for the most part, unless you're just working on weekends or whatever. But you have to rely on those actors all the time. Documentary work is a little bit easier in that sense, that you can take your time, you can learn a little bit, and just keep adding to your project. So I just think personally it would be easier than a reality show. But
agreed. Yes. Yeah, it would be a nice softer step instead of taking the big jump, because it's a lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. One thing for my network, I try to not to please everyone, but I'm showing people it's not cut and dry. That hey, he has a disability, shows about disabilities. Sorry, try and catch my breath. I give you an example. What people can expect from the Keith Andrew Network. You can see my Skype interviews. You can see my TV interviews. Hopefully I'll be getting a lot more of those once the stupid pandemic is done. And actually, that's going to be my next question for you guys. Mm-hmm. I would love to have you guys as my brand ambassadors. I'm always looking for people. You can watch season 1 all the way up to now, so 13 all the way up to 2021. If you like professional wrestling, I interviewed WWE, WCW, ECW, all the professional wrestlers. If you like anime, I have Dragon Ball Z. I have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. If you're into the gymnastics thing, if you like Jumbo Buck, the Human Pyramid stuff, it's there. I have independent, it's fun on the subject about independence. I have independent professional singers, comedians, CEOs, kid actors, so many things on the Keith Andrew Network, I have thousands of hours of content. So if you don't like my talk show, that's fine. I have something else for you. If you like the professional wrestling segment, if you're into Dragon Ball, and there's so many great things available on the Keith Andrew Network. So yes, they made the documentary is the right step on a reality show. Who knows, maybe a wrestling show. But the Keith Andrew Network can be so many great things. But the point is, if someone with a learning disability can do all this, what's your excuse?
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But with the last 5 minutes wrapping up, I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air. Dennis, when I first approached you, what was your honest first opinion for being on my show? What made you say yes? And after being a guest, how do you feel now?
Oh yeah, no, this is a good opportunity. I welcome any kind of dialogue with anyone who wants to talk about film, and and it's good to get to know people, and you just never know where things lead, and I found that you can never, I never turn my back on anyone. Doesn't matter who it is, because you don't know what kind of relationship you're going to build with this person or how you can help each other, so that's just the way I am. I'm very open to everyone, I never, someone's willing to want to talk about art, I'm willing to talk about film, art, whatever it may be. And that just tends to be, what I like, but I'll listen to everything. It's always good to keep an open mind about everything. It gives you ideas you never thought you go down past ways you never thought you would go in, and that's how I got into film. It was pretty much an accidental thing, but I enjoy it. So, yeah.
I completely agree with you on that. That is, it's so true. I know when you first approached me, I felt at ease, and that's not something I say often, because I do get approached by a lot of people in a day, but I definitely felt at ease. And again, it's an opportunity, and people that don't take opportunities are the ones that don't do anything.
No, you're right. There's so many people out there that, for an example, people like I interviewed 8 years ago, and I reached out, it's like, hey, let's do it again. If I have great chemistry with you, I can have you on 3-4 times because it's a fun conversation. If you're kind of like, watching wallpaper dry or watching paint dry, I may, have you on as like a group interview and have it balanced out. But as you know, that doesn't really work out, not to go into much detail on that. But, there's certain things, like if you can, for an example, there's this person I went on the show, and they're like, yeah, I was on your show. I'm not into doing sequels. You're not doing a freaking movie. You're being a guest on my show. Or you have other people are like, yeah, I was a guest on your show once. Once was enough. It's like, well, can you tell me if I did something wrong? It's 7-8 years ago. Things changed. I got better as a talk show host. The video quality got better. You can't judge a person one time and then it's like, oh, once was enough, but yeah, But I hate people like that. But if someone gives you an opportunity, be happy, be grateful, and take it, because you never know where that opportunity is going to lead.
Exactly. I love to see where people start and how they're progressing, because as a talk show interviewer, you progress. You learn things as you go. As a producer, actor, anything you do in life, you're always learning something new. And it's great to see, and it's exciting to see where people actually have come from and where they're going. I find it fascinating.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air. About wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you guys on the show. And I just want to say thank you. I'm looking forward to part 2. But to let you know, if you want to add this to your calendar right now, I know it's a whole year ahead, and a lot of things could happen. God forbid anything bad, but we're all hoping for positive things. This stupid pandemic could be over. Well, widen up anyway. But June 10th next year, that's a Friday, at 8 p.m. East, it's going to be my 9-year anniversary, and I would love to have you guys a part of it.
Oh, wonderful. I'd love to. Yes, definitely.
I think it would be great.
No, absolutely. I didn't mean to interrupt. I do apologize.
No, not at all.
Now, wrapping up the TalkShow segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you guys on the show. And as our fans, make sure to like and support the Keith Andrew Network. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that bell icon so you'll be notified. Brand new episodes are available. And as I always say, until we meet again, catch you later.